arms, close my eyes and take off like a bird. And I'm landing on a star with a little flying cars. But I feel like I already know this place. It was the last time our eyes collided. I wish that I could see your face again. I think I fell in love with an alien. I wish that I could see your face again. I think I fell in love with an alien. Everything feels so right. The trees grow backwards and the rain falls upside down. I hate to see her cry, but I have to say goodbye. And maybe you come visit me on Earth. Yesterday I fell asleep at night. I woke up in a spaceship traveling at the speed of light. Everything feels so misplaced. The sky is at my feet and the ground above my head. I'm landing on a star with little flying cars. But I feel like I already know this place. It was the first time our eyes collided. I wish that I could see your face again. I think I fell in love with an alien. I wish that I could see her face again. I think I fell in love with an alien. She showed me how to talk without words. Spread my arms, close my eyes and take off like a bird. And I'm landing on a
Dear friends, welcome to Spacefaring Civilisation, where I'm creating a platform for filmmakers to help each other create optimistic sci-fi. Today is a special day. I've got a guest with me, Michael Slater. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. It's
pleasure.
wonderful that you've come. We love to hear what you have to say about your experiences
Okay.
Just to let you know, so Michael has, just let me go to my screen. Michael has played in 2 of my short films. One is Unrequited Fear, and the other one is The First Astronaut. So, astronaut.
Astronaut.
That's an Australian astronaut. So, just quickly before we start our conversation, one of the things that I was thinking is important in filmmaking is teamwork. What do you think about that, and how does it translate in the acting world?
It translates actually really quite well because, you know, it is a team, and, you know, you're talking to the director, the producer, and the crew as well, and you're helping their vision and your vision meet the same. So, you know, and it's good to sort of talk to them and see what they want and what you can bring to the table. And sometimes you make, you know, suggestions and changes and things that you can really work together to really help it in a really good teamwork, and it just ends up being a really good, happy sort of direction. And it makes their vision help and yours really come together.
But filmmaking doesn't happen by itself, does it? So there's people pushing, like, you know, both from the crew side and the acting side to bring it like into fruition. How much work is done in pre-production with the actors? What do you guys do? Is it just reading, or is it like rehearsal? Yeah,
it's a couple of things. Like, obviously, it's meeting with the director and the crew first, obviously, before you start shooting. You know, it could be a table read, it could be a character, you know, development, what they want and what you want to bring to the character. So a lot of them do that, where you meet up and you might meet a couple of times. If there's sort of, you know, things like fight choreography or things like that, you know, you want to plan quite well in advance on how you're going to execute, you know, these techniques and these fight scenes, all that stuff. Or, you know, just conversation and how what sort of voice, what sort of accent, what sort of persona you're going to put on. So there's a fair bit of prep, and that's just on the actor's point of view, you know, and you imagine the prep and everything that's gone from the production, you know, from day one to where they get to that point.
And obviously there's like costume fitting and things like that.
A lot of them, you know, they sort of, you know, give you a brief on what they want and what they want you to wear, and you know, you also got to remember with, you know, what clothes are going to look good on screen. You know, things like stripes or checkers, they don't look good. They strobe on camera. So, you know, you got to think about it, and you got to talk to them. And obviously, you don't wear labels. Nothing with labels.
Of course,
Always remember that one. Very important.
No
very important
marking.
message. Yeah, exactly. No markings whatsoever.
So if you don't mind, Michael, we'll have a little bit of a chat about you.
Yeah, sure.
We'd love to find out about yourself.
All right.
So since you're part of the whole Spacefaring Civilization team, and you're a fan of Optimistic Sci-Fi yourself.
I am,
like that. So what got you into acting? So what attracted you?
It was sort of something that came to me from day one. Like as a child, I was fascinated by it when I found out really what acting and filmmaking was. So I was drawn to it from a very, very early age. And even as a child, I sort of would act through characters, accents, movements, and all that stuff. It was so it was sort of like something that I just felt I was drawn to from day one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
what kind of roles, attract you? Like what kind of roles do you accept?
Yeah. Look, due to my look and size, I always get the the thug, tough guy kind of thing, and they're fun. They're a lot of fun. Playing the villain is so much fun. You know, it's sort of you're playing someone that's not you, and it's such a it's therapeutic to do because you're playing this person that's really quite despicable. It's quite fun. But then also roles I do like with anything with a lot of emotion when you get to show how happy you can be, how upset you can be. Those ones, you know. So if ones I really enjoy, which I was surprised was like when I'm in a relationship or something on film, they are really quite moving. Those ones, but then also anger when you're like yelling. Fighting, that sort of stuff. Those ones are just, so much fun.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So why is optimistic science fiction important to you?
Well, I feel it helps getting people out of their own, safe world. Kind of it's out of their own box kind of things to sort of think outside that box. And think about possibilities, and I think it helps us to expand as people, to really think of other possibilities and other avenues, and I think it's important to the soul, to your mind, to expand and learn.
Sure. I mean, that's how I feel as well. I think the more positivity we have in the world, the better.
It really helps.
And having a vision of a better future. Yeah,
absolutely.
So who's your favorite actor?
I have a couple. I really lately. I really enjoyed Rick Mayall, which is a British actor. He's passed away now, unfortunately, and Leslie Nielsen, as they're comedy actors, but yet they did it so seriously and so convincingly. And I just found them, especially Rick Mayall, sort of watched him as a kid and really sort of tried to learn off his mannerisms as well. Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So. So this is a tough one. What's your favorite optimistic sci-fi?
I had a good think. And I've got a couple. I think I just picked a handful. I had to really narrow it down. I'd say definitely Terminator. That was just amazing at the time. The first two movies I think were brilliant. I think they really helped it. I think Predator was really good too, because it's sci-fi, but it's also involves a thriller kind of element to it. Obviously Star Wars. I think Star Wars is brilliant. Yeah. I know you're a Star Trek guy, but I do like my Star Wars. Sure. I thought District 9 was brilliant.
District 9.
I thought that was a really interesting.
So it was about refugees, alien refugees.
It had a lot of subtle meanings as well, and it sort of involved discrimination, and I thought that was really interesting. And finally, Aliens franchise. I really like that. That was scary.
Little bugs running around.
Yeah.
Big bugs.
It's not so optimistic, but it's sci-fi, and I do enjoy that element of it.
It was definitely a good sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay, so just before we get on to talking about the characters that Michael played in the two short films that I mentioned before. So a little bit later, Michael will give us tips on acting in optimistic science fiction. Well, acting in general, but especially relevant to optimistic sci-fi, which is very useful, especially for those of us who are behind the camera as well, will find it very useful to get into acting. And this is something that I recommend. If you want to make films, try all the roles. Don't just stick to one thing. Yes, definitely specialize, but doing a bit of acting, doing a bit of directing, doing a bit of writing, it kind of broadens your mind, and it makes things go a little bit smoother when it comes to production. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. And it's worth, with it, is talking to people and understanding where they're coming from and what they want, and even understanding what the crew goes through, what the crew work hard. They go from day one, from early morning to late at night, and I think it's a respect thing, but it's also understanding. It really helps for everyone.
Process work.
Yeah, exactly right, and what it takes, and what it's taken them to get there. Yeah, absolutely.
And acting is tough, guys. Acting is very tough, and a director who knows how to act, or at least knows the basics of it, helps a lot. So I'm getting there, Michael. I'm not quite there yet, but
you do a great job.
I'm sure with the tips that you're going to tell us.
I think you're there, man. You're a good one of the best, man.
Okay, let's talk about Dimitri in The First Astronaut. So the character Dimitri.
Yeah.
So let's have a quick look at a little snippet of the film. And then we'll come back and talk to Michael about that character specifically. Sorry, there's no sound. I'll fix that in a second.
Should get in trouble with Russia, let me tell you.
NASA weren't too happy about it either.
Oh, no.
So I'll play that again because I stuffed up with the sound.
She would refer to us as, how should you say, honorary astronaut.
Astronaut, yeah.
Yes, and which you see us on the television. Should get in trouble with Russia, let me tell you.
NASA weren't too happy about it either.
Oh no.
So that was a little snippet of the astronaut. So you playing with so the other actor was John, and he was playing an American astronaut, and you were playing a cosmonaut astronaut.
Yeah,
That interaction was very, very interesting.
Oh, John, I was so excited because I've seen him around so many times, and that was the first time I actually met him, and then got to work with him. So because you see all these actors in camera, so many brilliant actors and directors and filmmakers, and you want to work with each one of them, and sometimes you know them and you've seen them around for several years and never get a chance to work with them, and that was the first time met him, and he was just as nice as I thought he was going to be. You know, he's awesome. So
he's a very nice guy.
Oh, great guy. And so it was nice for me because I was really passionate about that role, and then working with John as well. It was really
well. Tell us about the lore of Dimitri, and you mentioned that you went through a particular process in researching the role and things like that. So tell us a little bit about that. And what did you learn from the experience?
What I learned? So what I did, obviously with Dimitri, he was Russian, and so I think it's really important if you're playing a different culture, different nationality. I think the most important thing as an actor is to be respectful and to do the role justice. I wanted to stay away from any sort of stereotypical kind of portrayal. And so what I did is a friend of mine's Russian, so I spoke to him about a lot about the culture, about the perceptions. I also read a lot online too, because when you sort of read about something, then you talk to someone like they said online, they talk about Russian culture, they can be quite superstitious, and I spoke to him and he's like, not so much, and it's depending on the information or which part of the country they're talking about. But as I started talking to him, I really sort of worked with the character because I wanted him, and I sort of semi-based this character off him, as my friend's a very intelligent man, but pretty humble, and I kind of wanted Dimitri to sort of show that. He had a really good sense of humour. He was actually a really nice guy, very clever, but softly spoken at times. Yeah, so what I learnt is, as I said, I wanted to do justice, but I sort of tried to learn a little bit of Russian as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I can't speak any at the moment. I'll be out of practice.
Tell us a couple of words.
No. But I'm not going to say da. Da. But
Spasiba.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But I learned a bit of the words. I sort of got him. I was really prepared for it because it was all unscripted, the role. So I learned tried to find a place in the country which wasn't your typical Moscow or St. Petersburg. I wanted to sort of come up with something that's a bit more something no one's ever heard of, and trying to find something I could pronounce well and all that stuff, and come up with his backstory. And also learnt about the space program, the Russian space program, which I thought was interesting.
So the Star City.
It was really quite interesting because I only really knew about the American space program, obviously, but yeah.
So that's another thing about acting is that you learn a lot about other fields and other cultures and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's very eye-opening, isn't it?
It really, really is. It sort of opens you to a lot of things. Also about you learn about obviously culture, backgrounds, all this sort of stuff. But I think you also learn a lot about yourself as well, which is a selfish thing. But you work out what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with, and it's some of it can be confronting because, some you do need a bit of research and need to work out, am I comfortable with doing this scene? And especially if you're playing a bad guy, because a lot of it, you can use to make him look despicable and all that stuff. But there's a line, and that line I've learnt, unfortunately, how far I can take it and what I'm willing to do, and it's all experience as well.
And usually with characters, it's about their growth, right? So there might be a bad guy at the beginning, but there might be a good guy.
Well, that's sort of a principle I've sort of done when you are playing the bad guys, to understand that even bad people have their good sides. You know, they have their
Yeah.
good qualities. You know, so try and sort of bring that forward. To, it sort of brings it into more a realistic
Yeah.
character that people can relate to. And when they're bad, it's because they're bad for a reason, and they have a motivation. Everyone has their agenda. So yeah.
True. And that's what I loved about Star Trek, is that they weren't really good guys or bad guys. There were people who did good and bad, but yeah, there was something behind what they did. So generally people did good things because they wanted the world to be a better place, and they
Yeah,
wanted
so they've got their own agenda,
good.
you know, and
to do good, and you know, and exploration was obviously part of it. And so even in Star Wars, like, you know, Darth Vader, I mean, just looking at the prequels,
yeah,
like, you know, the reason why he went bad was very much human. Very
it
much
was
human.
unfortunate, yeah.
Well, it was unfortunate. but,
Unfortunate, yeah.
okay, so let's move on to Unrequited Fear. And you played the character of?
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob the alien.
Bob the alien. So this short film was a little bit of a quirky one, and Michael played Bob the alien. So let's have a quick look at a short video of that film. And if you want to watch the whole thing, you can obviously go to www.sfcfilms.com. So SFC Films, one word.
Okay.
.com, and you can watch it there. So let's go to my screen, and then I'll play a quick snippet.
Page Balbo, yeah? Yeah. Someone's outside. That's not Daniel. I know. I know.
So that was Bob the alien. Well, we don't see much of him there, but
Not really, no.
it comes a little bit later in the film. We don't want to give too much away. But yeah, tell me about Bob the alien.
Bob the alien. Bob the alien was alien that's well, he's tried to learn about the Australian culture and language, and the accent he picked up was a very ochre kind of voice, very very softly spoken. It's sort of, you know, it's scary at first, but you know, once he starts talking, you realise he's quite a gentle kind of guy.
Sure.
You know, he's a nice guy. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the process of how you got into character with Bob the alien, and what did you learn from the experience?
Well, I sort of tried a couple of things how I was going to do it, like what sort of voice I was going to use. You know, I wanted to sort of, you know, if I was going to do something really unusual and a weird inflection on how he talks. I think I spoke to George, and I just said, I'm thinking about doing like a real Aussie accent, and he goes, yeah, do it. I showed him what I was thinking. He's like, yeah, do it, because you know, he's like,
so George was the director.
Yeah, sorry, talented man, that one. And yeah, he him and I worked with it, and he was happy with it, and we went with that, and it was that's pretty cool, because it was kind of nice, like, because the alien, he looks scary, but he's really quite gentle, and I found people sort of say that about me sometimes, that I'm tall and I'm big, but it's I'm really quite harmless as well.
Yeah.
So it was nice to sort of play that role
True.
in a sense as well.
Yeah. And I guess that was one of the core messages of that film, is that you can never tell. So, you know, that's why it says unrequited.
Yeah.
So unrequited, for those who haven't heard the term, it means unreturned or unwarranted.
Yeah.
So the most of the problems that we have stem from fear.
Absolutely.
And yeah, like, you know, we are all people. We are all one human
Absolutely.
family. And that's the core message of Optimistic Sci-Fi, is that we are all one human family. What did you learn from the experience playing Bob the alien?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, from the production side of thing, I think, because I got to work with Emily and hadn't actually worked with her before, and John again. I got to, obviously he was there. I got to meet him quickly again. It was just, obviously on learning about playing that alien character, I thought was just really kind of cool on how I walked and how I moved. I tried to make it look a little bit unusual, a little bit different, and it was sort of one of those sort of acting goals. I always wanted to play an alien, so it was really cool to sort of get into that. And this, he's awkward, he's big, he's sort of a little bit clumsy, and but has what his intentions at the end, I think, are just so. I don't want to blow it, but it was nice. I thought it was nice. Yeah.
So one of the things that we did was put prosthetics on you. So I'll play a little video while you talk about it. Tell us a little bit about the prosthetics.
Well, Amelia is a really talented, beautiful person in Canberra. She's an actor, she's a writer, she's a musician, she's everything. One of those people that are annoyingly talented. But then she did my makeup for this, and she did a great job. And it's obviously, any kind of makeup, you're sitting down for a long time, and it's a lot of work, and they're putting a lot of work into it. So being an actor does take a lot of patience. It does take a lot. And Amelia was great. She sat me down and went through that process. The worst part about it is not really wearing the prosthetic on the nose, because they don't breathe prosthetics, they're sweaty. And when you wear like fake nose, ears, chin and things like that,
and they're going to glue it on?
Yeah, they're going to glue it on. The worst part was she sprayed my hair with some golden paint spray. Since it's in a can and compressed, it was so cold. I couldn't help it, just getting like a shiver up your spine from it. And she was laughing each time she did it. I think she enjoyed seeing me squirm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, was it uncomfortable, or you just got used to it?
It's never entirely comfortable.
Okay.
But after a while, it's like anything. You just forget it's there. And but yeah, I've worn prosthetics before when when you get home and you get in the shower and you're trying to peel it off. If it's like silicone or if it's like paint, you're trying to wash it off, and then. And also, also becoming an actor, I didn't realize how much makeup actually did. I knew obviously it helps, but when you actually see it on yourself, it's like, oh wow, it does actually make me look a bit better, or a bit scarier or whatever. Yeah, so it's everything you do is a learning experience, I think, in acting. Absolutely.
Oh
wow.
Wonderful. So let's get on to, I think, what we came here to do, to give some hints and tips.
Oh yes, hints and tips.
To our fans out there.
Yes.
On acting in an optimistic sci-fi. So that camera is yours.
Thank you.
Feel free to give us any hints and tips. But the top five.
Top five. Okay.
So
my top 5 hits.
Go when you're ready.
Tips, if you really want to hear them. I would say you're good enough. Always remember you're good enough. A lot of roles, sometimes we don't take certain opportunities because we don't think we can do them, and we think people are going to be better and people are going to beat us. But always remember to give it your best shot. Just do it. Just dive in and do it. You'll be surprised how good you are at something. Follow it. Really, it's a dream. If it's your dream and you want to do it, do everything you can to make that come true. I would say. I would say be respectful. Like I was saying, playing a different nationality, it's be respectful of a different culture, be respectful of the people you're around, your partner, your co-cast and everything like that. If it's showing respect is also on any sort of embracing your cast members, touching, fighting, anything like that. Just be respectful. Be reliable, always be on time, be early if you can, be early, learn your lines, learn your character, because the director and the production have put so much in to get this thing off the ground. I would say it's your role now to make their vision come true and do it that way. I'd say to be serious, take it seriously, not too seriously, don't take yourself too seriously, have fun with it, but do it justice, You want to have fun, be serious, but have a good time doing it, because acting is one of the best jobs I've ever had, and it's a lot of fun. So I would say have fun, do a good job.
Oh, wonderful.
Would you have tips for?
Thanks.
what would be your tips on for a director's point of view?
Oh, from a director.
What do you want from your actors?
Okay. Well, you put me on the
I
spot.
have. What's it been about me? I want to, you know.
So I would say being prepared is one thing. So, and don't be afraid of getting feedback. So most often, especially in mainstream, media, film, things like that, directors have a very narrow vision. They don't want to hear anybody else's point of view. And things like that. That's not always
it's
the
like
case,
with
but
any sort of arts. You're passionate about it, you know, and when you're passionate about it, you can't help but take it personally, you know.
And it is your vision, obviously. You need to be true to your vision. But at the same time, you need to listen to the people around you, especially like actors, like such as yourself, who get into the brain of the characters. I mean, they research it inside and out. Yeah. And they know more about the character than anybody and things like that. But yeah, no, being prepared and listening. I think was it who was the famous director? The big fat guy who used to make a lot of thrillers.
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock. Yeah. One of his famous lines was he said, "Filmmaking is about, or directing is about. Filmmaking is 98% script. Yeah. And the other 2% is not to stuff it up."
All right. So okay. Cool. That's good.
So yeah. I don't know why that came in my head. But
that's important to you. Absolutely.
So it's to actually not stuff up the script. You need the input of everybody, including the cast and crew.
There's something similar you said other day. Like it's when someone does give you feedback, is how did you put it? You sort of it's not a personal attack. It's it's on your project, but not you. You sort of said something similar to that. How do you overcome any kind of feedback that could be negative? It could be positive. Yeah. How do you not take it personally though?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, it's like you said, art is, you put your heart and soul into it and things like that. But you got to remember that when people are giving you feedback, they're taking time to give you feedback. There are so many people that say, "Oh yeah, that's nice," but they don't really mean it.
They don't mean it, yeah.
So obviously, people who give feedback need to learn how to give feedback. You don't.
There's a way to do it as well.
Yeah, there's a way.
Yeah,
there's a correct way of doing it as well. That doesn't mean that you're all nice and all touchy-feely.
Yeah.
But you gotta. But from the receiving end, obviously you gotta take it on board.
Yeah.
You gotta take it on board. And if it makes sense, if it's something useful, obviously do something with it. If it's not, ignoring it is fine as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what I would sort of find too is taking feedback is because some people can be quite harsh with giving feedback, and it's very easy to listen to all of it too. And I sort of I've had to learn it from being a musician as you got to take you got to choose what you listen to as well. I think like you're saying, it's sort of. You sort of tell yourself, would you go to that person for advice? And if you say no, then don't listen to don't be arrogant. Don't never be arrogant. But at the same time, there's some people that the advice and feedback they give can just be, a little bit too negative sometimes. I like say it in a positive way if you can. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we've got 2 minutes left.
Oh wow, that went fast.
We're having lots and lots of fun.
Yeah, this is good.
Now. What I usually do at the end of the streams, we have a little bit of a Q&A session. So this is an interactive part of the stream, is that you can ask us questions. So if you're on Facebook, and this is another thing that I forgot to mention, we're simulcasting. So we're streaming both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I know a lot of people have done it, but this is the first time for SFC. So.
And what about this writing contest, have you?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the writing contest. Thanks for reminding me.
Got your back, man.
Yeah, good on you. But let's hear from our audience. So if you're on Facebook, you can just leave a comment. I see Mick is logged in and Michael. Okay, I can't read the surname, but anyway, welcome Michael and Mick. If you guys have got any questions, just type on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, the chat is on your right-hand side. Is it right-hand side or left-hand? Right-hand side. Just type in your questions in the chat box as well. So we'll chat a few more minutes until you get your questions down. But feel free to ask Michael any questions on acting. So this is thank you for the tips that you gave. That's
absolutely.
useful.
I hope it's helpful.
One of the things that I want to ask you, so those who want to get into acting, so haven't acted before, what's one of the first steps that they can take?
Oh, I would say, if I can plug a local business, like Perform Australia, I think is really good for a short course on acting. Okay. Like a Acting 101, I think it's really good to show people, what's needed. I think, and I think it's a great. They're just short courses, and I think I highly recommend them.
And who's the short course by? Did you say?
Perform Australia. They're in Fyshwick, yeah.
Okay.
I'd recommend that.
So if they're outside of Australia, they just go to their local.
Yeah, I'd say there's got to be community centres as well that do these, and there's a lot of on Facebook. There's a lot of groups, acting groups, and if you want to even get in, even extra work and things like that, you can learn a lot. And when you're on film, you're surrounded by a lot of really good people, and I found you can learn so much off anyone. Someone younger, someone older. Anyone can be your teacher when it comes to acting because there's so much to learn. Yeah. And get on Facebook, get on any sort of acting, short courses and things. Get an idea, see if it's for you. If you want to do it, just do it. I put it off for a long time, and I wish I did it sooner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Okay, we've got one question. Besides acting, what keeps you busy?
I am a musician, so I've been playing guitar for a very long time, 20-something years I think now. I've been playing. Played in bands and write for sometimes soundtracks and films as well. I do that, so obviously I play guitar a lot. That's something I love, writing music. Also do go to the gym, do a lot of boxing and things like that, martial arts, and that seems to keep me really busy, besides film. And a 9-to-5 work job, which is, I do to fund my other musical and acting careers.
Oh, here's a question, interesting one. What was your experience on working in the Focus on Ability film? So what is this Focus on Ability film?
Focus on Ability was encouraging directors and filmmakers that have a disability, and a lot of them make such great films as well as part of this competition on the Focus on Ability. Unfortunately, my role is I got called in last minute. They had someone that
was this a particular project?
Yeah, for Airlock it was called, and the cast member I think was sick. I think he had to pull out, and so they sort of asked me the night before, here's your script, can you do this? And that's another thing with acting is sometimes you got to hit the ground running, and you got to learn your lines quickly and your character quickly. So I didn't have a lot of time to really develop the character heaps, but it was a great experience as well to sort of thrown in the deep end. Sometimes it's kind of exciting, scary but exciting. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. I think that's all the questions we're getting from the audience. Well, thank you so much for your questions, guys.
Thank you very much.
I know some of your friends have logged in, and I guess some of these questions are from them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Glad everyone was nice.
And for everybody who joined us.
Thank you.
Just before we end, just quick updates. And you mentioned the writing contest.
Yes.
So the writing contest, so there is a theme now in the writing contest. It's unity. So apart from it being optimistic science fiction, you also need to have the theme unity in your scripts. For more details, go to sfcfilms.com, and you have a link there to the actual site where you can get the details and submit. There's also a tutorial video on there on how to submit your script. So that'll help you on if you have never submitted a script through Freeway. That's a good resource and whatnot.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Knock 'em dead. You'll do good.
Yeah. No, hopefully to see your scripts. Another update is The Man in the Moon. So that's another project that we were both involved in.
Absolutely.
That's coming to SFC Films soon, on the 12th or the 13th. I'm not quite sure. So it'll be on sfcfilms.com. So that's the release of the latest film that we've been involved in. Another announcement that I'd like to make, and we won't expand on it because we're still working on it, is a feature film that Michael is going to be involved in next year.
Very excited. It's going to be good.
Called The Explorers. Unfortunately, I can't tell you much more than that. But from the name, you can tell that it's going to be.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a
cool.
cool one.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely excited.
So yeah, thank you very much. Michael,
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Anytime.
And thank you for all the tips and tricks. I'm sure I know I learned a lot today. And,
did you?
And
yeah.
hopefully, I'll get into acting as well. I think
you're a very kind man. Thank you. But thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. So until next time, keep watching Optimistic Sci-Fi and keep making Optimistic Sci-Fi.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Take care, guys.